Now, for those of you who don't know, I got 10 years of law enforcement experience. I also was an assistant district attorney, and, you know, I've been a defense attorney for a long time. This is just my evaluation of the facts as they are. I think the officer has a good defense, and I think a conviction here is probably going to be very, very, very unlikely, even without the political nonsense. The reason
so much analysis on something so obvious. Yep.
why I think is because when the vehicle goes forward and the officer has the gun pointed at the vehicle and he's actually hit with the vehicle, if that happens, then I don't think there's really going to be any court that's going to say that that's not a serious threat. And
man, that's too bad, right?
for those facts to manifest themselves, it's going to probably lead to this officer not being charged with anything. They may say this is a good shoot. And in this case, I can see both sides where you could say this may not be as clean a shoot as you want, but I don't think this officer will go to jail. I don't think there's going to be any charges brought. And if there are charges brought, they're going to be brought in vain, because soon as you put an officer in front of a vehicle and the vehicle goes forward and the person's pressing the gas, it's
fucking duh. Obviously. No shit.
honestly going to be almost impossible to convict that officer. It just is. It's standing in front of a vehicle that's coming at you is a serious threat. And a serious threat doesn't mean it has to kill you. It just has to seriously injure you.
Oh my God.
You can break your leg, for instance. That's a serious threat. Also,
I would say so.
There's a lot of hindsight going on with the political commentary. Like, oh, you see, the officer could have moved out of the way. He could have done something else. And the law doesn't work that way. It's not
because it was inside of the reasonable expectation or some sort of like operational prudence. Yeah.
About what could have been done. It's what happened. You're supposed to avoid looking back and saying he should have done this. What happened at the time, and was he being objectively reasonable with the threat that had confronted him?
He was.
Now, some people are saying it's the officer's fault because the officer is standing in front of the car and the officer placed himself in danger. Well,
that doesn't work. Let's hear how it doesn't work.
Say this. Two things. Number one, if there's a bank robbery, for instance, officers run into the bank and try to stop the bank robbers by shooting them. The bank robbers are killed. Do you think the bank robbers' argument is going to be the officers intentionally placed themselves in harm? No, because a crime was being committed and they were going to stop that crime.
That's right.
The second response to that question is that the officer being in front of the car doesn't give the person sitting in the car
the right to run them over,
to hit the gas and run down the officer. And
isn't it crazy how something that is so fucking obvious that any rational person can see has been the biggest controversy on the internet for like the last 3 or 4 days? Yes, somebody being in front of your car who happens to be a federal agent who's detaining you does not give you the free rein to accelerate your car while they're in front of it. I was going insane reading Reddit about this. That's because Reddit is a completely astroturfed fake platform that is banning anybody who disagrees with them. It's a total fake platform.
And then if the officer responds with deadly physical force, the person say, well, the officer was standing in front of my car, so I can kill them. That is...
Let me guess, that's not how it works, right?
It's not the way it's done here in America. Now, some people may say that it wasn't proportional. He overacted by shooting at the car who was turning away from him. But at the point in which he's hit by the car, he
was turning towards him.
In front of the car enough to make contact with the car. And I think that is going to be the determinative factor in this case. Now, if you disagree with me, I'll see you in the comment section. But I wanted to at least give you my opinion to show you that this case I'm struggling with, but tie generally goes to the runner. And in close cases like this, they're going to side with the officer. That's generally our system. But again, I'm not 100% positive that that's how it's going to happen or go down, but we'll see. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to like great YouTube stuff. I'm out. Peace. Well, if you're here, you're probably already subscribed. That's why you're listening. Bye.
And keep in mind, everybody overwhelmingly supports this and agrees with this. What you're seeing on Twitter and what you're seeing on Reddit is a completely astroturfed fake majority of people that support running over a police officer. Link, yeah, Nate the lawyer is a legend. I've watched a few of his videos already, and I think he's a really great guy. I completely agree with his analysis on this. And I think that most people that don't need to be committed to a mental institution also agree with it as well. Oh. That's right. That's right. Man.
There's a lot of glass everywhere. Just punch it, and we're out. Did they take the driver?
Wait, why aren't they shooting him? Oh, that's right, because he's not trying to run them over.
Well, you have no fucking right to be here.
They absolutely do. You just made that up.
Get out of our state. Sir, stay over there, please. Fucking murderous,
sir,
traitorous
you're not gonna like the
bitches.
outcome.
Get the fuck out! Get out!
We will never stop following.
Get the fuck out!
have to put up with us when you decide to break the law.
Thank you guys.
We will never
Get
stop
out
following
of our
you.
fucking state!
We will never
Yep.
stop following you.
Fuck you!
We'll be back later.
Man. Mental illness? It is. It's a total mental illness.
Sir, back up!
Yep.
Get on the sidewalk, sir.
Man. Beautiful, isn't it?
Was she an observer then?
See, that's what happened. By the way, this is what happens when you follow the law. This is it. Here's more. Oh, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, yeah, I'll pull this up. Yeah, look at this. Just immediately bust this shit out. And do you want to know why they didn't try to drive away? It's because if they did, they would have got shot. That's what happens when consequences are applied, is that people follow the law. Everybody says, oh my God, what, you can't just, people can just do it out. No, they won't. The moment that people think that there's something bad that's going to happen to them, they will sit there and they will do what they're told. And that's what should happen every single time. They've learned, they did. They lured. Enforce it more often? Yep. Does all property of illegal immigrants and houses become free-for-all of the U.S. to master loot? Yeah, I think it should be. Yep. Stop making the argument anyone that deserves to break the law deserves to get shot. They don't deserve to get shot, but whenever you break the law and you put another officer's life in danger, or you put an officer, you make an officer think that their life is in danger by breaking the law in an unsafe and dangerous way, you put your life on the line and you risk getting shot. I think that deserving is a word. This is like, there's an emotional weight behind the word deserve, and I think that you're using that on purpose. But the fact is that whenever you create an unsafe environment by, not complying, by doing things that are dangerous, by doing things that scare people, you're going to have people make split-second decisions because they can't read what's in your mind.
Good, let's take it all the way around this audience. We're gonna take it all the way around this audience right here. You guys stay right where you're at. You're perfect.
You know what? Maybe I do hate white people. I don't know how this has happened. I really don't. This is crazy. This is crazy. Chicago PD superintendent surprisingly makes sense.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed.
Yep.
And that this could end in a deadly situation.
What? No way.
And it's reasonable
no
for
way.
them to use force based on those conditions.
Obviously.
Do not box in any law enforcement officer.
Duh.
You're breaking the law when you do that.
Duh. Duh, of course.
And you are putting yourself in danger.
Absolutely.
Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why?
Yeah.
What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any.
Who the fuck drives their car into a police car or a law enforcement car? That's insane. Like, this is, I mean, we've totally departed from reality. Like, this is like a mass psychosis event.
Law enforcement, local, state, federal, county. And you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
Duh. Duh, of course. Obviously, that's the case. It's just, the thing is that why can't this guy, I said this last time I saw this, why can't this guy just be the mayor of Chicago? Like, this guy's 1,000 times better than that retard. Like, why not just have him be in charge? This would solve so many problems. Everything would be fucking fine. He explains it to retarded people, I know. So yeah, it's just, they're just trying to get away. And you don't need to want to kill. Recklessness is also a factor and treated similarly. Yeah, definitely. And they're putting a whole shitloads of SSRIs in tap water or something. I think that people just go and they read a lot of things that are extreme. And no. How to not get your ass kicked by the police?
Face to face with a police officer and wondered, is he about to kick?
All right, I'll watch. This is an old one. This is really good. I haven't seen this in so long, I don't remember what it says.
You ever been face to face with a police officer and wondered, is he about to kick my ass? Well, wonder no more. If you follow these easy tips, you'll be fine. First, obey the law.
I don't know. That's fascism. Oh my God, I can't do that.
Laws were made for a reason.
What?
Think of them as hints. You've heard people say, man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you.
Yeah.
Well, here's some of that shit. Carjacking, armed robbery.
Yeah, see?
Arson, selling drugs, buying
I like how all of these are ones that are happening right now in Minnesota.
drugs, stabbing, shooting.
Yep.
You know, you probably won't get your ass kicked if you just use common sense.
How far have we fallen?
If you jump a subway turnstile, you might just get off with a warning from the police. But if you jump a turnstile carrying a loaded gun and smoking a joint, then maybe you need your ass kicked. Follow this simple tip. When you see flashing police lights in
Pull
your
over.
mirror,
You pull
stop immediately. Here's a no-brainer. If you're listening to loud rap music, turn that shit off. Blasting fuck the police while you're getting pulled over by the police is just ignorant. When
it's just not increasing your chances.
An officer approaches your car, be polite.
Is there a problem, officer?
Yep, there we go. Rather than, you can't stop me!
And stay in your car with your hands on the wheel.
Yep.
What the fuck you want, motherfucker?
The crazy thing is they have this as like fucking, you know, this gangster black guy, but now it's just some 55-year-old SSRI'd Karen that's like fucking post-menopause out of her fucking mind. Yeah, it's not even this anymore.
Want to give a friend a ride? Not so fast. Your friend might be crazy. Now, before you let your friend in your car, ask them these questions.
Do you have a gun?
Do you have a gun? Do you have drugs? Do you have any warrants? And in case you do get pulled over by the cops,
license and registration, please.
remind your friend to do this one thing.
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep, absolutely.
Give him shit. What the fuck you want?
Look at his face.
Here's a tip you should never forget. If your woman is mad at you, leave her at home.
Yeah.
Because a mad woman
Well, that's true about that. This isn't just with police, it's just in general.
will say anything.
He got weed! He got weed!
If your
Ho's mad!
woman is mad at you, there's nothing she'd like to see more
You
than you getting your ass kicked. Now let's review. Obey the law. Use common sense. Stop immediately. Turn that shit off. Be polite. Shut the fuck up. And last but not least, don't ride with a mad woman.
But the problem now is the mad women have the wheel. Oh my god.
If you follow these simple pointers, you probably won't get your ass kicked by the police.
Oh my god. Absolute fucking cinema. Now attempting to invade a federal building is a bad thing. A lot changes in 5 years. Well, of course attempting to invade a federal building is bad. Duh. Of course. Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, obviously you can't do that. So these are just invade the federal building in LA and ended up running away after being spooked by something. Oh, it was the flag! The flag scared him! Oh, yeah, it was the flag. Actually, if it was gonna scare him, I thought it would be an American flag. You know how bad for them when they find out what happens? Yeah, I guess so. Did you hear about all the bad press and bad reviews of Code Violet? Yeah, it was kind of like a, just nobody really gave a shit, right? I mean, nobody cared. So, I don't know what else to say beyond that. Scared of friendly fire? Maybe. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing over there, but, we'll see what happens. I don't know why people do these protests and they try to obstruct traffic. It's very... In my opinion, I think that it's very problematic that you have a huge contingency of people that think that they can protest and try to physically shut down the operations of a government, of government activity that was voted on by the public. Like, just fundamentally, I think that's a big problem. Because, I mean, let's be honest, guys. This was something everybody knew that they were voting for Trump to do illegal alien migrant roundups, right? Like, everybody knew this is what the plan was. And so, like, if people voted for Trump because of that, Trump wins the election, well, you don't just get to say that, well, I don't agree with the outcome of the election, I'm going to go and cause a bunch of problems. Fascism is when I lose the election. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, I think really you can't have a society that functions that way when as soon as somebody loses the election, they just completely fucking, go crazy and they run around and just cause problems. You can't have that. You can't live in a world like that, man. It's just not how it works. So, and I'm definitely not a bot. Yeah, of course not. And 0.5% of the world's population. Well, I don't know about that. Oh, about Steam? Yeah, it's probably not that much. Have you ever read about the civil rights movement? This isn't the civil rights movement. Like, I'm not interested in hearing your comparisons to the only two. Do you want to know why everybody compares everything to the civil rights movement and to Nazis? It's because those are the only two things that you learn about inside a public school in America. That's it. That's literally all you learn about. And so after you get done learning about that, big surprise, when all you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. So this is the reason why everybody compares everything to the civil rights movement and to Hitler. It's because they don't know about anything else besides that. They have no idea. It's the same as these people think that, like, you know, Soviet Russia was like a rich, nice place because they literally look at Soviet propaganda from back then. It's crazy. So love that saying. Yeah, the civil rights movement, they had nonviolent protests because they knew that it would be squashed. Well, yeah, and also, like, I mean, there was violent protests that happened in civil rights, but overall, I mean, I think that it's very, very different in a lot of ways. And it's also, this isn't civil rights at all. So seeing what happens, I wonder if they change the Minnesota flag. If you hang the new one upside down, you cannot see it being upside down, so no signal of distress from Minnesota. That's funny. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, everybody compares anything to civil rights and Nazis. You don't know anything beside it? Yeah, of course. And so it's an insult to even remotely compare this to civil rights. Well, this is the big problem, and I don't know why more people don't call this out, is that, you know, for example, Nazis, like, so this is like one thing that Nazis did, is that they took like a batch of, like, I don't know how many it was like 200, 250 Jewish people. I think that they were predominantly Jewish women, and they used them all for medical testing. And obviously every single one of them died. And then after all of them died, there's like Nazi correspondence that's been, you know, recovered, that they're like, you know, like gleefully talking about, wow, we're doing so much great research, please send more people. And so you literally have them using actual Jews as guinea pigs and killing them systematically for medical research. And we're going to compare this to arresting illegal aliens and then deporting them. Because, like, again, keep in mind, they're being deported. They're not being killed. They're not being, you know, like murdered or something like that. They're just getting sent back to wherever country they were originally in. So it's just this massive inversion and just total fucking, like, emotional manipulation that I think is just insane. It's totally insane. It's all performative. Well, not only is it performative, but I think it delegitimizes and it makes light of things like the Holocaust. It makes light of things like Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement entirely, Rosa Parks. And whenever you try to conflate and launder your bad ideas through something that was a real tragedy, like, for example, you know, the Holocaust, or, you know, like Nazi Germany in general, and or something like civil rights, you're laundering your ideas through that, and you're making people forget the actual evil that was inside of that. This is what happens when white privilege mistakes noise for courage, listing buzzwords and calling it activism, while remaining completely untouched by the effects of those buzzwords have on the communities that were raised in and live in is tone deaf. H-O, what was this? Hold on. I have no idea. This isn't activism, it's privilege cosplay. Man. Got him. And so, yeah, it's easy to scream this whenever none of it touches your life and you're posting from a gated mansion in Calabasas. There you go. And white liberal women are honestly pathetic. It's insane because what do you mean you love criminals? What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, it's easy for her to say when you don't have to encounter them IRL. Tell her to go live in a projects by herself and see if she still has the same thing to say. Exactly. So this is the issue that, yeah, she straight up said, I love criminals. Yeah, exactly. People that do this, it's totally performative. And I'm glad to see that, you know, the internet collectively is starting to wake up to the fact that a lot of these white women that are trying to get behind these movements, they're not trying to get behind these movements for you. They're trying to get behind the movements for them. They want to be involved in this movement so they can feel good about themselves. Whether things are accomplished or your life improves is really kind of second. That's not really the main goal. The main goal is so they can feel good about themselves and they can think that they did a good thing. And so that's the huge issue, is that, I mean, when the intention and like the basically the reward structure is feeling good about yourself, then the big problem is like, okay, well, what if you feel good about yourself doing something that's bad? And that's what happens. That's why, I mean, you know, George Orwell said that, right? I mean, so it was that long ago. In your opinion, what's the biggest issue to the whole society? The biggest problem in society. Wow. I think it's the fact that everybody can vote. I do. I think it's everybody being able to vote is the biggest problem. Because the thing is that everything is downstream from that. Because No, and I know it's education. No, you can't educate people that are stupid. You can't do that. That's a fantasy. That's a liberal fantasy. There are people that are just born with less talent points in real life. They're just stupid. They're always going to be stupid. They're always going to make stupid decisions. That's just what they are. And so, yeah, you gotta know that. It's just the way it is. So, because the people are retarded? Exactly. What do you mean by that? I think that we need to have more restrictions on who can vote. Like, I think that if we had 80% less people voting, only like, let's say 20% of the player base, of the voter base could actually vote, I think that you would have better candidates, you'd have better policies, you would have better, better laws, you'd have better everything. And so, wow, hey, look, guys, I play a lot of video games. What can I say? I'm not sorry. So stupid is, stupid does. Yeah, exactly. How do you do that? For me personally, like, what would I do? I would want to have it be like a voting test or like a net positive taxpayer test. So like if somebody is a net positive taxpayer, then they can vote. If they're not, then they can't vote. Now, obviously, I think that every voting mechanism like that will disenfranchise legitimate people, but I try to think about it in terms of a greater good. Would it be better for most people if some good people did get disenfranchised, but you overall had better controls over who can vote? That way you don't have people that are morons voting. Well, I would say the answer to that is yes. I absolutely think so. And I think that the truth is that the founding fathers, they never expected that everybody would vote in the country. You got to remember back then, it was only white landowning males that were able to vote. So this entire idea that voting for everybody is like, that's what the United States is built off of, that's a lie. It's a total lie. And so the problem is that with a functioning and a good democracy or republic, you have to have a filter to prevent voices from coming into it that are just totally stupid. And that's it.